Hi everybody, I'm Tony Wilson here with my good friend and co-host Adrian Wright, and this is The Supernatural and Beyond. Well, as many of you know, there was a little event back in the day called World War II. At the end of World War II, with the defeat of the Nazis, there was rumors that there was a secret base in Antarctica. Okay. It was called New Swaziland. And the United States took this very seriously. So what they did, they organized a task force. That's the nice word for it. They organized a task force to go down and root out the last of the Nazis. Okay. Because they didn't want these guys coming back. We'd already gone through all these many years of war and all the atrocities that went through this. Right. Well, when Admiral Byrd got there with his task force, they ran into some very, very strange things. Yes. One of the things that they ran into was things that they call UFOs, unidentified flying objects. Okay. They were said to be saucer-shaped. They were said to be a round metallic disc and silver-like. They were also firing particle weaponry. Okay. What we call modern lasers or phasers, as you know, they say in Star Trek.
Or Star Wars.
Star Wars, yeah. So the three things again they found out that there were these UFOs that were able to perform like no other aircraft of the day.
Outperform.
Yeah.
I like that terminology, outperform.
Outperform, the frontline fighters of the day. One of the other things was, I mentioned the particle-bringing weapons, and then the other thing is that there was supposedly a secret underground base where they had rumors of captured angels, fallen angels, giants, and other, shall we just say, genetically engineered type creatures and beasts that were going on down there.
Right. And one of the things that's interesting, if you check like Google or YouTube videos, but there's like forbidden places that have been removed from Google Earth, which is an app where you can see the whole Earth, and you can zoom in and see what's going on. And one of the places that has supposedly been removed is some kind of crashed alien ship or some kind of hole or cave in Antarctica.
I've seen that, yes.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. So I want to lay that there for our believers, our followers, for whatever they believe. If they believe in this or not, I mean, you can research Admiral Byrd. There's lots of stuff on him with Antarctica. And then that whole alien spacecraft thing. But this is like May 2019. There's been a recent development, and I shared it on the Supernatural and Beyond Facebook. So if you go to our Facebook, you can find the article that I linked, but it was actually from the U.S. Navy.
U.S. Navy, yeah.
Right? And other news sources reported it too. So I don't know who your news source is that you go to, because everybody's trying to avoid fake news, but a lot of other news sources released the same story. And what it was I went straight to the Navy to get the scoop.
The Navy feed, yeah.
Yeah, but they had to change their policy of reporting UFOs. And so this is a game changer, because a lot of people like myself is skeptical about UFOs. Like, for a lot of times I haven't really believed in it, but when I grew closer to Elohim, God the Creator, and I started looking deep at his scripture, at his word, there's other entities that he created, not just the human race. And so the fallen beings that were created, that fell or were kicked out of the heavenly realm, had a different technology. And so now that they're kicked out, they're stuck here with us. Yeah. So what people call aliens, I believe, are the fallen beings. And there's so many different types of forms, and there's so many different types of fallen or for aliens that people see, and they call like the grays or like other beings, reptilians. And you kind of, there's more than just like the grays, or there's even little green men and all kinds of stuff that people see. But going back to the whole topic I'm trying to express right now is that technology is like out there, you know what I mean? And for those beings to create it, it's like they have that access and they have that knowledge where they could create these these spaceships to fly all around the earth. And the fact that the Navy has now made it so that they can report, because the whole issue is there's been pilots in the Navy, there's been commercial pilots, and there's even rumors of Air Force pilots where they've seen other craft that can
UFO.
outfly unidentified flying objects that can outfly and outmaneuver them. And they're like, we have to report it, because let's just say hypothetically it's another nation that's doing it. Well, they have craft that outperform us. And, you know, if we ever go to war with like this nation or that nation and we never reported, hey, they had these special
technologies.
Yeah, these special technologies, we're starting a war, and we're already outperformed by these ships.
Well, that's the thing. Again, going back to Admiral Byrd, you know, we had the frontline fighters pretty much prop driven. However, if you have something that's anti-gravity,
yes,
back in layman's terms, that can just do all kinds of performance maneuvers that we can't do, well, we got to know about this. Now, one of the things that I've always kind of thought about, well, how is it that, you know, these extra-dimensional beings need craft to go around in? Because, again, going back to the earliest recorded history, there's always been some sort of flying machine.
Right.
What was the word? I can't think of the word right now, but Brahmanas, that's the word I'm looking for. Brahmanas in ancient Babylon.
Okay.
You know, where the leaders, the earth leaders, the human leaders would get in these craft and actually fly around.
Right.
Now, my thinking is that there are these celestial beings that have these abilities. Like you say, they can combine technologies with the science that they have, and use these craft pretty much like we do. I mean, it's nothing for us to get on a bus, get in a car, get on a train, get on a plane, and fly from point A to point B. So why wouldn't they also need some sort of transportation device? All of them just can't pop in and out of things extra dimensionally, and if they are in a reduced state of understanding or abilities, then consequently they may not have those same abilities that they have when they were in a much higher state. So they would need to have some way to get around from point A to
Right, and they have the knowledge still, so they could make this, they could form that. And a lot of stuff that I've seen doing the research here, I found a new doctor. I got to look more into him, but he was talking about a lot of the science behind the hollow earth and some other stuff. He's a scientist. His name is Dr. Hank Karstman, Krastman. I hope I'm not saying his name wrong. But he was talking about the UFO conspiracies, about how there's no scientific evidence that they're from other planets, that they may even be from another dimension and they just appear here, or they may actually be from the Earth, like parts that we haven't journeyed into. Say, for example, like he gave an example of he journeyed through Alaska, and he says for most of his trip through Alaska, it's uncharted land. There could be anything out there in those land, in the mountains, in the ice regions, even in the ocean. So
even Admiral Byrd was said to go into the hollow earth. It's called the hollow earth theory, where there was actually ancient civilizations, again, those fallen angels, those demonic beings, those giants, and so forth and so on. So there has been plenty of evidence, again, from ancient times to now.
And even scientific evidence.
Science and what we call religion. They're more closely aligned than we want to believe. One has tried to push itself away from the other for various reasons. We won't go into that. But once we start doing a side-by-side comparison, we start to see there are more similarities. It's just that one side has used it for the purpose of evil, the one has used it for the purpose of good.
And, you know, it all comes down to where your heart is, you know, like... a lot of us, we focus on the ways of the world, or we don't believe this or we don't believe that, and we get too distracted. But it comes down to there's a battle that's constantly going on, and it's the good side or the dark side, the side of light or the side of dark, good versus evil. And we lay this evidence down before you so you guys can do your research, so you can make your decision, so you can figure out in your own lives, like, do I want to lean towards the good side or do I want to lean towards the evil side? So we lay that down for you here at the Supernatural and Beyond. We give you these facts, and we like to interact with you guys. So, once again, please leave those comments down below. Do you really believe in alien technology, or the hollow earth theory? What are your beliefs? So be sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe for more content, and leave that comment down below. Thank you.